Mei sat cross-legged on the couch, her hands nervously flipping through a stack of wedding brochures that Amber had insisted she consider. The air in the room felt both exciting and heavy, a mixture of anticipation for their big day and the lingering tension of keeping it secret from her family. Eric, seated beside her, leaned forward to glance at one of the brochures, his warm, steady presence grounding her. Eric softly, "Hey." He reached out, taking her hand in his and stilling her fidgeting fingers. "It doesn't have to be a huge production. Just something simple, meaningful. The kind of wedding that's really about us." Mei looked up at him, her lips curving into a gentle smile. The worry etched on her face began to fade as she met his reassuring gaze. "Mei, you're right. But..." She glanced at the stack of brochures, her expression turning wistful. "I want it to feel special. Even if it's small, it should be a day we'll never forget." Eric grinning, "It will be. And we've got Mariah and Amber helping, so it's already guaranteed to be memorable." He paused, a playful twinkle in his eye. "For better or worse." They couldn't help but laugh, the sound breaking the tension that had been building all evening. She leaned her head back against the couch, shaking her head as she imagined the chaos her friends might introduce into the process. Mei teasing, "You're not wrong. And don't forget, your best friends are in on this too. Gabe and Sean will probably turn it into a comedy routine." Eric chuckling, "That's part of the charm." Gabe's already offering to write his own stand-up vows, and Sean said something about a wedding toast that might double as a roast. Mei smirking, "Sounds exactly like them. You sure you want to let them loose on our big day?" Eric grinning, "Absolutely. They're family, just like Mariah and Amber are yours. And if we're going to do this, it should be surrounded by the people who love us the most." Mei leaned into him, resting her head against his shoulder as the thought of their close-knit group coming together made her heart swell. Mei softly, "You always know how to make everything feel right." She glanced back at the brochures. "So, where do we start? Venue? Dresses? Or should we call the Chaos Squad and let them weigh in?" Eric laughing, "Definitely call them. I want to see Gabe and Mariah fight over flower arrangements." Mei giggling, "Oh, you think I'm joking, but Mariah has opinions about everything. She'll have Amber taking notes." Eric reached for his phone, holding it up with a playful smirk. Eric, ready to assemble the dream team. Mei grinning, "More like the Chaos Crew. But yes, let's do it." Amber and Mariah were already sprawled on the couch in Mei's office, sipping on their lattes as they scrolled through their phones. The sunlight streamed through the tall windows, illuminating the space as Mei paced nervously in front of them. Her hands were clasped together, and she kept glancing at her friends as if weighing her words carefully. "Mei, okay, so I have something to tell you." Amber immediately perked up, lowering her phone and narrowing her eyes playfully. Amber, "Oh, secrets. Spill it." Mariah grinning, "This better be good. Did you land another massive deal? Or is it juicier than that?" Mei taking a deep breath, "Eric and I are getting married." The room froze for a second before erupting into chaos. Amber gasped so loudly it echoed, while Mariah nearly spilled her latte as she bolted upright. Amber, wait, what? You're getting married? Like, eloping? Secretly? Mariah grabbing Mei's arm, "And you want us to be your bridesmaids?" "Oh my gosh, yes." "When? Where? What are we wearing?" Mei laughing, holding up her hands, "Calm down, you two. Yes, we're keeping it small, just us, Eric's friends Gabe and Sean, and maybe a little garden or rooftop venue. Something intimate and private." Amber dreamily, leaning back, "I love it. So romantic. Just you two, surrounded by people who actually care. But also..." She gave Mei a pointed look. "Your parents are going to freak when they find out." Mei sighing, running a hand through her hair, "I know. That's why we're doing it this way for now. I want to marry him on our terms. No drama, no pressure. Just love." Mariah's grin softened into something more sincere as she stood and wrapped her arms around Mei in a hug. "Mariah, well, count us in. You know we've got your back, always." Amber jumped up to join the hug, squeezing Mei tightly. "Amber, of course. We'll make sure your day is perfect. Romantic, beautiful, and not a single soul will ruin it. Not even Gabe and Sean." Mariah laughing, "Seriously, though, have you seen those two? They're going to turn this wedding into a stand-up comedy set. Mei grinning, I'm counting on you two to keep them in line. Amber, oh, don't worry. I've got Gabe's number, and I'm not afraid to use it. The three laughed, their bond growing even stronger as they shared the weight of the secret. The conversation quickly shifted to logistics, Amber pulling up Pinterest boards for inspiration, Mariah scribbling down ideas for dresses and decorations on a notepad. The office buzzed with excitement, the energy infectious. Mariah jotting notes, okay, so. You're thinking a rooftop or garden venue? Do you want florals everywhere, or are we keeping it minimalist chic? Amber scrolling, and what about the dress? Classic white? Or should we do something bold and modern? I'm seeing a lot of silk slip dresses that scream understated elegance. Mei laughing, you two are already planning more than I have. I was thinking. Something simple but pretty. Nothing too extravagant. Amber, simple is great. But simple done right. Trust us. Mariah, yeah, trust us. We'll handle everything. You just show up and say I do. Mei smiling, you two are the best. Amber grinning, we know. The sports bar hummed with the background noise of clinking glasses, the low murmur of conversations, and the occasional cheer from a nearby table watching the game. Eric sat across from his two closest friends, a hint of nervous energy in his otherwise calm demeanor. He knew Gabe and Sean would have his back, but their reactions were bound to be colorful. As Eric mentioned the secret wedding, Sean nearly spit out his beer, coughing as he set the glass down with a loud clunk. Sean wide-eyed, wait, hold up. He leaned forward, pointing a fry at Eric like it was an accusation. You're telling me you're getting married, like, next week, and your in-laws aren't even going to know? Eric shrugging, that's the plan. Mei and I want to avoid unnecessary drama. We'll deal with her parents when the time is right. Gabe smirking, man, you've got guts. Mei's parents are no joke from what you've told us. Eric grinning, that's why we're doing this on the down low. I'm not about to walk into that storm unprepared. Sean shook his head in disbelief, but there was a glimmer of admiration in his eyes. Sean, you're braver than I am. But hey, if you love her and she's on board, that's all that matters. So, what's my job in all this? Best man? Ring bearer? Flower guy? Eric laughing, groomsman. You and Gabe are standing up there with me. Though, if you want to throw some petals, I won't stop you. Gabe nodding solemnly, makes sense. And hey, I'm honored you want me to stand up there with you. Though, fair warning I might cry. Sean snorting, same. But only because I've got a killer toast planned that'll have everyone in tears. He paused, wagging a finger at Eric. You've got my full support, man. But don't think I'm not going to make this wedding a little more fun. Eric raised an eyebrow, knowing Sean well enough to expect some kind of mischief. Eric, define fun. Because if you're planning to prank me mid-ceremony, I'll take you off the invite list. Gabe grinning, relax. He's all talk. Mostly. Sean mock offense, hey. I take my responsibilities very seriously. That said. He leaned back, a mischievous smile playing on his lips. Do you think the officiant would let me freestyle my part of the ceremony? Eric, absolutely not. The three laughed, the tension easing as the reality of the moment sank in. Gabe raised his beer, his voice taking on a more serious tone. Gabe, in all seriousness, man, you've got this. Mei's a great girl, and the two of you are solid. I'm happy for you. Sean, same here. Just tell me one thing, are we having wings or steak at the secret wedding? Eric, neither. It's going to be small, so no fancy catering. But I'll make sure there's cake. That's non-negotiable. Sean grinning, then I'm in. They clinked their glasses together, sealing the deal with laughter and an unspoken promise of support. As they settled back into their usual banter, Eric felt a surge of gratitude for his friends, knowing they'd be by his side for one of the most important days of his life. The screen flickered to life as the video call connected, the sounds of laughter and chatter filling the virtual space almost instantly. Gabe leaned back in his chair with a beer in hand, while Sean sprawled out on a couch, his grin mischievous. On the other end, Mariah and Amber were seated in Mei's living room, surrounded by a mountain of wedding magazines, notebooks, and color swatches. Mei and Eric sat on their couch, sharing a laptop screen as the chaos began. Mariah excitedly, finally, We've been waiting for you two to get serious about this. Do you even know how much self-restraint it took not to start planning this months ago? Amber waving a thick folder. We've got ideas. So many ideas. Themes, color schemes, venues, you name it, we've already thought of it. Gabe mock whispering, holding up his beer. I hope one of those ideas involves cake tasting. That's literally the only reason I agreed to be a groomsman. Sean grinning, cake is great, but Gabe and I were thinking. Fireworks. Something dramatic. Like, you two say I do, and boom, sparks fly, literally. Eric groaning, rubbing his temples, fireworks. Sean, this is a wedding, not the 4th of July. We're going for intimate, not explosive. Mei laughing, I already regret this call. This is why I should have just eloped without telling anyone. Mariah smirking, oh, no. Too late for that. You invited us into this, and now we're running the show. Right, Amber? Amber grinning, absolutely. Step 1, where's this happening? Garden? Rooftop? Beach? Talk to me. Eric calmly, we're thinking small. A garden or a rooftop? Just us, no frills. Mariah pretending to faint, clutching her heart, no frills. Mei, how are you marrying this man? No frills. Mei teasing, nudging Eric, apparently, with no frills. Amber leaning closer to the camera, okay, but hear us out. Small doesn't mean boring. We're talking fairy lights, soft florals, maybe some chic seating. Romantic, elegant. You know, Pinterest worthy. Sean grinning, at a taco truck, and I'm all in. Gabe, don't forget the open bar. Small weddings can still have priorities. Eric shot both of them a look, though the corner of his mouth twitched in amusement. Eric, you two are the reason we're keeping this to just 6 people. No distractions, no chaos. Sean mock offense, we are the chaos, and you invited us. Mei laughing, he's not wrong. Mariah, okay, focus. If we're going with a garden or rooftop, we'll need to start scouting venues. Mei, I have a list of options already. I'll send them over. Amber, and what about the dress? You're going simple, right? Something understated but stunning. Mei smiling, exactly. I don't want anything too big or dramatic. Just something that feels like me. Amber nodding approvingly, perfect. I'll send you some links later. For the record, Mariah and I are very excited about bridesmaid dresses. I've got a vision. Mariah, same. Gabe and Sean, you two better look sharp because we're going all out. Gabe raising his beer. I clean up well. Don't worry. Sean, I'm just here for the free suit. Eric, it's not free, Sean. Sean mocking, you know what I mean. The group erupted into laughter again, the camaraderie and love between them shining through. Despite the jokes and interruptions, they managed to hammer out some details. Mariah and Amber would scout venues, while Gabe and Sean were tasked with finding a playlist for the ceremony and reception. It wasn't a perfectly organized meeting, but it was filled with laughter and the unmistakable warmth of friends who had each other's backs. As the call wrapped up, Mariah leaned into the camera one last time. Mariah, this is going to be perfect, Mei. Small, intimate, and full of love. You've got us, and we've got you. Amber, exactly. We're making magic happen here. Just wait. Mei smiling warmly, I don't know what I'd do without you guys. Eric grinning, probably have fewer fireworks in our plans. Sean laughing, you're welcome. The call ended with goodbyes and promises to follow up soon. Mei leaned back into Eric's side, her heart full. She couldn't wait to see how their little wedding would come together, surrounded by people who truly cared for them. In a week, Mei's apartment had transformed into mission control for the wedding. Wedding magazines, color swatches, and lists covered every surface. Mariah and Amber sat cross-legged on the floor, laptops open as they argued about centerpiece ideas. Eric leaned against the kitchen counter, sipping coffee as Gabe and Sean debated playlist choices. Amber waving a floral catalog, we need peonies. You're romantic and elegant. Mariah rolling her eyes, peonies are out of season. Let's stick with something classic, like roses. Amber mock glaring, you just want roses because they're easier to spell. Mariah smirking, and you want peonies because you saw them in a rom-com. Mei rubbing her temples, ladies, can we just pick something that won't stress me out? Flowers are flowers. Amber and Mariah in unison, no, they're not. Eric chuckled from the kitchen, raising an eyebrow at Gabe and Sean. Eric, and you too. Settled on a playlist yet? Gabe, we're stuck between At Last by Etta James or something modern, like John Legend. Sean grinning, I'm voting for something fun. What about Beyonce? Crazy in Love would get everyone hyped. Mei groaning, no Beyonce at my wedding, Sean. Sean, you're missing out. Amid the chaos, Mei's phone buzzed. She glanced at it, her heart skipping as she saw a message from her mother. She quickly set the phone down, her expression flickering with worry. Eric noticed and walked over, placing a reassuring hand on her back. Eric softly, it's okay. We're doing this for us, remember? Mei nodding, I know. It's just, I hate lying to them. Amber overhearing, with a warm smile, hey, this isn't lying. It's just delayed truth. Mariah, exactly. Besides, this is your day, Mei. You deserve to enjoy it without worrying about anyone else. Mei smiled, the tension in her shoulders easing slightly. With her friends and Eric by her side, she felt a little more confident navigating the chaos. The soft glow of moonlight filtered through the window, casting a silvery sheen on the wedding dress hanging delicately by the curtain rod. The dress, simple yet breathtaking, symbolized the culmination of Mei and Eric's love and intimate promise they were ready to seal. Mei sat curled up on the couch, her legs tucked beneath her, a wine glass cradled in her hands. Amber and Mariah flanked her, each equipped with their own glass and an arsenal of reassuring words. Amber took a long sip, her sharp eyes never leaving Mei's face. Amber gently, all right, spill. What's running through your head? Is it the dress? Eric? Or your parents? Mei sighed, staring at the tiny ripples forming in her glass. Mei, all of it, I guess. I mean, I love Eric. More than anything. But this is big. Like, really big. What if I'm making a mistake? Mariah leaned forward, setting her glass on the coffee table and clasping Mei's free hand. Mariah, mistake. Mei, come on. Have you seen the way Eric looks at you? That man is head over heels, wrapped around your little finger, and probably planning a lifetime of making you happy. Amber nodding, exactly. And don't forget, he's passed the ultimate test us. Mei laughing weakly, you mean he survived you two grilling him every time he showed up at the office? Amber grinning, survived. Honey, he aced it. I mean, he brought us coffee and donuts unprompted. Who does that? Mariah teasing, it's true. He made us like him more than you sometimes. You're lucky we're letting you marry him. Mei's laugh came more freely now, the tension in her shoulders easing as her friends wrapped her in a group hug. Meanwhile, at Eric's place, the vibe was equally relaxed, though a bit more chaotic. The sound of clinking beer bottles and shuffling cards filled the air as Gabe and Sean settled into their usual roles: part-time groomsmen, full-time chaos makers. Sean laying down a card, Uno. Wait. Wrong game. Anyway, big day tomorrow. Ready to have a ball and chain. Eric smirked, raising his beer bottle in a mock toast. Eric, if that's what you call spending my life with Mei, then yeah, I'm more than ready. Gabe, ever the sentimental one, set his cards down and clinked his bottle with Eric's. Gabe, good answer, man. But just so you know, if you screw this up, Amber and Mariah will come for your soul. Sean laughing, yeah, and if they don't, Mei will. She may look all sweet and soft, but we know better. That woman's got a steel spine. Eric leaned back, a fond smile spreading across his face. Eric, that's one of the reasons I love her. She doesn't back down from anything. Even me. Gabe and Sean exchanged a knowing glance, their teasing demeanor softening. Gabe, you're a lucky guy, Eric. Mei's the real deal. Sean, and you know we're here to make sure tomorrow goes off without a hitch. Or at least, with very few hitches. The three clinked their bottles together, the moment a mix of camaraderie and quiet anticipation. Later that night, after Amber and Mariah had gone home, Mei sat alone in the quiet of her apartment. She walked over to the window, her fingers brushing the hem of her wedding dress as she stared out at the city lights. The weight of what was coming pressed against her chest, but so did something else, a deep, unshakable certainty. She picked up her phone and sent a quick text to Eric. I can't wait to marry you tomorrow. No matter what happens, you're my home. Moments later, his reply came through. I'll be waiting at the altar, Mei. You're everything to me. Mei smiled, slipping the phone into her pocket and letting the peace of his words wash over her. Tomorrow, everything would change, but for the first time in a long time, she felt ready. The venue was breathtaking despite its simplicity, a lush garden tucked away in the heart of the city, twinkling fairy lights strung through the trees, and a small arch adorned with white roses and greenery. Mei stood in a cozy dressing room with Mariah and Amber, who were helping her with the final touches on her dress, a flowing ivory gown with delicate lace details. Amber sniffling, you look stunning. Eric's going to lose his mind when he sees you. Mariah teasing, forget Eric. I'm about to cry over how beautiful this whole setup is. Mei smiling, nervous, thanks, you too. I don't know how I'd get through this without you. Meanwhile, outside, Eric stood with Gabe and Sean near the arch, his suit perfectly tailored and his expression calm but excited. Gabe grinning, you ready for this, man? Last chance to run. Eric laughing, not a chance. Mei's everything I've ever wanted. I'm just ready to call her my wife. Sean, good answer. Though, I gotta say, I'm impressed you're keeping your cool. I'd be sweating through my suit by now. Eric walking to the altar, I am sweating, but that's because it's hot. The soft hum of garden sounds filled the air, a gentle breeze rustling through the hedges, the quiet murmur of distant birdsong, and the trickle of water from a nearby fountain. The small garden venue, tucked away from the bustling city, was adorned with simple yet elegant arrangements of white roses and greenery. It was intimate, just as Eric and Mei had envisioned. Eric adjusted the cuffs of his crisp navy suit for the third time, standing by the officiant under a wooden arbor draped with soft ivory fabric and fresh florals. His polished shoes crunched slightly against the gravel as he shifted his weight, stealing a glance at the small gathering of chairs that were quickly filling with the handful of guests, Mariah and Amber whispering excitedly to each other, and Gabe and Sean, already cracking quiet jokes in the back row. The officiant, a kind-eyed older man with an air of calm about him, smiled reassuringly at Eric. Officiant, nervous. Eric let out a breathless chuckle, running a hand over his freshly trimmed hair. Eric, is it that obvious? Officiant, not at all. But I've officiated enough weddings to know that look. Eric smiled, his gaze drifting to the pathway Mei would soon walk down. Eric, it's not nerves. It's anticipation. Excitement. She's my person, you know. I've been through a lot, but nothing feels as real as this. The officiant nodded, his hands clasped in front of him. Officiant, that's how it should feel. The garden venue was breathtaking in its simplicity. Twinkling fairy lights hung between trees, casting a warm glow over the intimate setting. A small table held a bouquet of pale pink roses. Amber's compromise with Mariah and a simple two-tier cake sat nearby. Mei stood at the edge of the garden, her hands shaking slightly as Amber adjusted her veil. Amber, you look stunning. Eric's going to lose it when he sees you. Mariah sniffling, I'm not crying. You're crying. Mei smiling nervously, stop. You'll make me cry, too. The soft strains of music began to play as Gabe, Sean, Amber, and Mariah took their places. Eric stood at the front, his suit perfectly tailored, his eyes locked on Mei as she walked toward him. The world seemed to blur as they exchanged smiles, their love evident in every glance. As the music, for the bride, started, all heads turned to see Mei walking down the aisle on her own, her confidence and joy shining brighter than any elaborate ceremony could have delivered. Eric's breath caught as their eyes met, a soft smile spreading across his face. Amber whispering to Mariah, did you see that? He looks like he's about to cry. Mariah smiling, same here, girl. Same here. Officiant, dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to celebrate the union of Mei and Eric. As the ceremony progressed, Mei's nerves melted away. Eric's steady gaze grounded her, and by the time they exchanged vows, her voice was steady and filled with emotion. The officiant's words were heartfelt but brief, leaving room for Eric and Mei to exchange their own vows. Eric's voice was steady as he spoke. Eric, Mei, from the moment I met you, I knew my life was about to change in ways I couldn't imagine. You've shown me strength, love, and a future I can't wait to share with you. Today, I promise to stand by your side, through every challenge and every joy. You're my partner, my best friend, and now, my wife. They wiped away a tear as she began her vows. Mei, Eric, you've been my rock when I felt uncertain, my light when things felt dark. I've never felt so seen, so understood, and so loved. Today, I promise to always choose you, to trust you, and to love you for all the days of our lives. Mei slipping the ring onto Eric's finger, I promise to stand by you, to love you, and to choose you every day, no matter what comes. Eric, and I promise to protect you, to cherish you, and to build a life with you filled with love and laughter. When the officiant declared them husband and wife, Eric leaned down, his kiss tender and full of promise. Their small group of friends erupted in cheers, Sean whistling loudly while Mariah wiped her eyes. Mariah sniffing, okay, now I'm crying. Amber, told you. The officiant declared them husband and wife, and as they kissed, the small group of friends erupted in applause and cheers. Mariah and Amber hugged each other, tears streaming down their faces, while Gabe and Sean high-fived in celebration. The reception was set in the same garden, now transformed into a magical space lit with strings of fairy lights and lanterns hanging from the trees. The scent of roses mingled with the aroma of freshly served food, and a soft playlist of love songs set the mood. Small round tables draped in white linen were scattered across the lawn, each adorned with flickering candles and bouquets of baby's breath. Mariah and Amber had outdone themselves. The simplicity of the setting reflected Mei and Eric's wishes, but there were personal touches everywhere: place cards handwritten by Mariah, Amber's idea of a dessert bar featuring tiny versions of Eric's favorite pies, and even a small photo booth where Gabe and Sean had already taken ridiculous pictures. Mei and Eric sat at a sweetheart table, holding hands as they listened to the soft hum of conversation around them. The joy was palpable, a blend of laughter, clinking glasses, and heartfelt smiles. Sean stood up, tapping his glass with a spoon to signal that he was ready to deliver the toast. The crowd quieted, turning their attention to him. Gabe leaned over to Eric, whispering, "Brace yourself." Sean grinning, "All right, everyone, settle in. Promise I won't keep you from the dessert table too long. But I do have a few words to share about the man of the hour and the woman who somehow decided he was worth marrying." The crowd chuckled, and Eric rolled his eyes, already anticipating where this was going. Mei squeezed his hand, stifling a laugh. "Sean, so, let me start by saying that Eric Johnson is a great guy. He's loyal, kind, and apparently very persuasive because let's face it, convincing someone as amazing as Mei to marry you is no small feat." Sean paused as the crowd cheered, and Eric shook his head, laughing. "Sean, but let's rewind for a second. Before Mei came along, Eric was, let's call it a work in progress." The crowd erupted in laughter as Sean shot Eric a mock serious look. Sean, he had this thing where he thought he could solve every problem with charm. Spoiler alert, it didn't always work. But then Mei came along, and suddenly, my guy here had to step up his game. She didn't just change him, she elevated him. Mei smiled, her cheeks flushing slightly as Amber and Mariah clinked their glasses in approval. "Sean, but Mei, I have to say your patience deserves a medal. Because this is the same Eric who once tried to grill steaks without charcoal and claimed he was experimenting." The room burst into laughter, Eric burying his face in his hands. Sean grinning, "But seriously, Eric, you found someone who sees the best in you, even when you're at your most clueless. And Mei, you found a guy who's not just your partner, but your biggest fan. He's the guy who will show up for you every time, whether it's a 5-star dinner or another one of his, experimental meals." Sean's tone softened, his grin giving way to genuine emotion. "Sean, in all seriousness, you two are incredible together. Watching your love grow has been an honor, and I'm so happy to see you both take this step. Eric, don't screw it up. Mei, keep being the amazing woman you are. And both of you never forget what brought you here today: love, trust, and a little bit of stubbornness." He raised his glass, his voice steady but full of warmth. "Sean, here's to Eric and Mei, proof that when two people are meant to be, nothing can stand in their way. Cheers." The room erupted into applause and cheers, everyone raising their glasses as Eric and Mei shared a kiss, their hands clasped tightly under the table. As the evening unfolded, the celebration turned into a mix of heartfelt moments and unfiltered fun. Gabe and Sean dragged Eric into the photo booth, while Mariah and Amber started an impromptu dance-off that had everyone cheering. Thank you for listening to If at All Modern. If you like this content, please like, subscribe, share and hit that notification bell for more from this series.